These NBA legends drop buckets, but they also might have dropped the ball on a little something called teamwork. Welcome to the Selfish Hall of Fame, where passing is optional, egos are mandatory, and trade requests are recommended. And as always, before we get to our top fives, we're going to give away some other awards, starting with our honorable mentions in no particular order. So how do you end up with a nickname like Bad P? And please use your creative imagination with what I mean by P, because I can't say it on here. Corey Maggott earned the infamous nickname because there was a lot of penetration in his game and nobody was happy watching it. Cuz not only chose to take the first open shot just about every time, but he also refused to pass the rock, eventually earning him the merit of being called a ball stopper and strongly disliked by fans, especially during his tenure with the Warriors. Then there's Michael Porter Jr., who's known as a bit of a shot chucker regardless of if he's contested by the defense. He's also earned the nickname Never Swing the Rock for his reluctance to pass. And this isn't just talk. Statistically speaking, when Michael Porter Jr. touches the ball, the possession is likely to end. His saving grace though, he does have an NBA championship somehow. Next up is the supermassive black hole known as Shabazz Muhammad. It seemed every time he touched the ball, he would forget he was playing a team sport and jack up some of the wildest shit. People are also critical of his one and done year at UCLA, where he took most of the shots on the team and often sacrificed team efficiency. His worst season, playing for the 2017-18 Bucks, where he averaged 1 assist for every 30 minutes he played, as well as shooting 26% from 3 as a small forward. He does, however, partially redeem himself by defeating a Warriors team that was overpowered and went all the way to the championship by dropping 35 points one game, which gotta give some credit. On to Adrian Dantley, who is just selfish in general. Due to his high usage rate and demand for a central offensive role, he's sometimes viewed as a ball hog. Although he was efficient, he stopped the entire flow of the offense by selfishly isolating every time, causing problems with team dynamics. But most importantly, there were conflicts with teammates like Isaiah Thomas and coaches, leading to trades from Utah to Detroit in 1986 and later to Dallas in 1989. With all that being said, we can't give the guy too much of a hard time because he is a Hall of Famer. Now, Ricky Davis was known for his athleticism and scoring, but particularly earlier in his career with the Cleveland Cavaliers, he earned a reputation for being too ball dominant. It seemed he struggled meshing well with superstars like Paul Pierce, LeBron James, and Kevin Garnett. What's most interesting is by the age of 30, he was out of the league, and many believe he was blackballed because of these selfish tendencies. And our final honorable mention, Antoine Walker, who played from 1996 to 2008, was a 3-time All-Star and NBA champion in 2006 with Miami. Now, Walker was famous for his high usage rate as well as his inefficient shot selection, often taking up to 30% of the team's field goal attempts. He also had a tendency to call his own number too often, leading to bad turnovers and poor team efficiency, which definitely earns him a selfish merit badge. Despite being a skilled passer, he still managed to earn a bad rap, particularly in his years with the Boston Celtics. And finally, before we get to the top 5, we have the 2 most controversial selfish players, starting with Mr. Gilbert Arenas, who's known for a scoring first approach. Arenas was often criticized for not passing enough, especially during his time with the Washington Wizards, but it wasn't on the court issues where he caused the biggest problems. Off the court, in a 2009 locker room gun incident, the nigga bought an unloaded weapon into a dispute with a teammate, Javaris Creighton, leading to a 50-game suspension. And despite having 3 All-Star appearances, Arenas' team had limited playoff success. And with only 1 playoff series win, this reinforced the perceptions of his selfishness on team dynamics. And finally, there was the Carmelo Anthony, who, while being a prolific scorer and a 10-time All-Star, he was known for loving isolation plays and opting out of defensive responsibilities. And despite leading teams like the Denver Nuggets to the 2009 Western Conference Finals, his career lacked championship success, particularly because of his individual style of play. And the real issue with Melo was he burned 10 seconds off of a shot clock with jab steps before deciding to shoot or pass out. However, the biggest caveat in Melo's career, and why I believe he's still an all-time great, is he did win 3 Olympic gold medals. I mean, isn't one of those golds equivalent to an NBA championship? But alas, let's move on to the top 5. And coming in at number 5 is Mr. Fat Suit Step Back 3, James Harden. Harden's isolation-heavy playstyle has led to criticism that he dominated the ball too much. Over his career, he's averaged 7 assists per game, which is impressive, but critics argue he only passes when it suits his scoring first agenda. And not to mention, off the court, Harden's selfishness is evident in his trade demands from Houston in 2021, Brooklyn in 2022, and Philadelphia in 2023, often citing team shortcomings while ignoring his own playoff failures. 11 All-Stars and an MVP, but a championship ring remains unseen. scene. At number 4, the 2001 MVP as well as NBA's most electrifying scorers, Allen Iverson. With his relentless shoot-first mentality, averaging 18.7 field goal attempts per game, as well as a staggering 30.7 usage rate, AI epitomized his selfishness. Some even labeled him a black hole who dominated the ball, often ignoring teammates like Jerry Stackhouse or Chris Webber, with whom he clashed in Philadelphia. Late in his career, Iverson's refusal to accept a bench role with Detroit in 2008 to 2009 and Memphis in 2009 fueled perceptions of selfishness. And I'd be remiss not to mention his iconic practice rant on ESPN in 2002, which still remains iconic till this day. Now, don't get me wrong, LeBron's on-the-court playmaking skills are elite, averaging 7.4 assists per game over his career. But for LeBron, it's his off-the-court actions that might come off as a little bit selfish. Starting with his decision to leave Cleveland in 2010 and later to leave Miami in 2014. Both of these moves sparked backlash with fans, accusing him of abandoning teams for better title shots and prioritizing personal glory. There's also a history of LeBron pushing for trades, like Russell Westbrook to the Lakers in 2021, which eventually backfired, leading to a losing record. He's also noted for forcing Kevin Love out after a diminished role in Cleveland. And what's even worse is public comments pressuring front offices, as well as tweeting to hint at dissatisfaction with team management, eventually earning him nicknames like Le GM in disguise. And many argue his influence disrupts team chemistry, as seen with Dwayne Wade's reduced role in Miami. While LeBron's 4 championships and 4 MVPs showcase his brilliance, his tendency to orchestrate rosters and leave teams in disarray paints him as a self-serving king whose legacy comes at a cost. Then we have the 2017 MVP and triple-double king himself, Mr. Russell Westbrook, who I've thoroughly enjoyed watching over the years because of his relentless pursuit and explosive plays, but there are some things to call into question. During his career, he's averaged 22, 8, and 7 with a ridiculous usage rate at 30%, and actually leading the league in usage rate for multiple seasons, and also taking 17.7 field goal attempts per game, helping him earn accolades but also at the expense of teammates like Kevin Durant and James Harden. Even in 2021, with the short stint with the Wizards, he took 19 shots per game while Bradley Beal stood in the corner wide open. And not to mention, he's a stat patter, with his triple-double obsession peaking in 2016 to 17, when he averaged 31, 10, and 10, but the Thunder went 47 and 35 and lost in the first round. While Westbrook's intensity and 198 career triple-doubles showcase his greatness, his stat-chasing and ball-hogging tendencies often left teams divided, cementing his place as a polarizing, selfish star. I still love you, Russ. And finally, at number 1, the Black Mamba himself, Kobe Bryant, who throughout his career averaged a sky-high 19.5 field goal attempts per game and a 28.7 usage rate over his 20-year career, earned him 5 championships but also a reputation as one of the NBA's most selfish players. Earlier in his tenure with the Lakers, Kobe's shoot-first approach would lead to feuds with Shaquille O'Neal, culminating in Shaq's trade in 2004, all fueled by Kobe's insistence on being the alpha, with Shaq later saying Kobe wanted all the shots. He also left teammates like Smush Parker and Kwame Brown as innocent bystanders with as low as a 10.3 assist percentage in 2006. And sometimes things just don't change, because late in his career, Kobe didn't mellow, as seen in 2014 to 15 when he averaged 17.6 shots at a 37.3 efficiency on a 27 and 55 Lakers team, because he refused to defer despite injuries. However, in retrospect, Kobe's selfishness as a player is the reason he's regarded as arguably the second best scorer in NBA history behind Michael Jordan. Bryant played with a will and desire that few players had, and nobody loved hogging the ball for shots more than the late great Kobe Bean Bryant.